I think the most important thing about Petit Plover is that we need to reference the greatest song of all time. When a Morris hits the sky like a pizza pie, the band is breaking. The band is breaking.
おはようございます。あらあら。
Welcome to episode 4. It could be 3, but we don't know how we're going to release this yet. This is your co-host, Angles Next Door, and with me today, my wonderful co-host, the normal person that talks at the beginning of this, it is Hobbs Bond.
Hello, hello.
We are getting right into the greatest anime of all time, Ave Mujica episode 4, and...
Certainly anime of the year so far.
Anime of the year, I mean... It's going to be very hard to top this anime. So, last week where we left off, we had Mortis had a mental breakdown. And this is the episode that's all about mental breakdowns, dissociative identity disorder. And as you've probably gotten from this, the band is breaking up. And we're going to be talking about all of these things today. We learn a little bit more about some of the backstory, in between episodes, we've learned their names. So let's go through all the girls. So Keyboard Girl, as we have named her, is named Sakiko Togawa. She's known as Obliviousness. And then there's Purple Hair Girl that is named Namu Yotenji. His name is a Morris. There is Jacket Punk Girl.
No jacket required.
No jacket required. She does have a point where she's not wearing a jacket, and I finally realized, oh, this random schoolgirl, that's that person. That's how little I noticed this character's existence when she doesn't wear a jacket.
You've noticed a jacket before her existence.
This is going to be a deep cut between the two of us, but this is Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, where you asked me, what does the character with a monocle look like? I'm like, I don't know, he had a monocle on. Like, if he doesn't have a monocle on, I wouldn't remember him, but he has a monocle on, so I call him the monocle. So her jacket is very much, when she wears a jacket, I recognize her. And then I guess when she also is in her Ave Mujica garb, I also recognize her.
What is her name? Her Latin name?
Timoris.
Oh, Timoris, so Fear.
So that's Fear. Which is interesting. She feels like the most nonchalant character in this whole show.
That's true. That is true.
But I guess she did in the episode. She does have a segment where she's like, the Spock is about to go out. Maybe she's fearing the band breaking up. We'll get to that when we get to that. Then we haven't listened to the last episode back yet. What do we call her? Green hair girl, even though I think she has white hair.
Green haired guitarist. That's, I think, the lighting. Because the show always has weird lighting. It
does. There's some nice weird red light. So this is Matsumi Wakaba. She is the character in the last episode that was so depressed, needed to go to therapy, still very much needs to go to psychotherapy. But, like, not because she's a psycho. But she needs to go to psychotherapy. That's what the Cleveland
We're pro-therapy. I mean, all of them should go to therapy.
That's what the Cleveland Clinic told me that she needs to go to. That could really help. So I researched stuff about her for this episode.
And she's Mortis, is her stage name.
Yeah.
Yeah, as of now.
Yeah. Yes.
For now.
Then there's Ukika Misumi, and whose name is Dolores? What does that mean? Because you took more Latin than I did. Sadness. Okay, she does. She fits that completely. That's her. She kind of comes off as very happy. One thing's interesting, because like I took this all from the Bang Dream website, and the reason we're bringing it up is that it's getting to the point where we're such big Ave Mujica fans that it's kind of weird not to do it. I'll probably be lazy, though, and refer to them by the weird names that we have for them, like Jacket Girl, or the Latin names. It'll be, like, Jacket Girl will probably always be Jacket Girl.
I mean, I'd still call her No Jacket Required.
Okay, you can call her No Jacket Required, because that annoys me. That's fine. And then...
Because it's not a prog rock reference, because he had stopped making prog rock.
The Brazilian, which comes out on Invisible Touch, technically has like a new lady proggy kind of feel to it. But I guess There are some people that argue that we're Genesis prog or they are always an art rock group, but that's besides the point.
Wow.
And you're like, what is art rock? I don't know. This is just getting really strange.
This also ties into this episode.
It does. So Yuki Musumi Dolores, from when I was on Reddit before this episode, and I found out that she was the one that was narrating at the beginning and end of the episode. So I don't know what's going on there. In that, is this a frame story? Is Piano Girl oblivious? Going to die? Because from this show, I thought she was going to die.
That's actually a really good theory. I like it. This is giving Farewell Kramer vibes.
A show that we've not finished. Yes. Somebody dies in that. So let's go into the show proper. So we already brought up green-haired girl, guitarist, is now kind of an excitable girl. She's happy. She seems normal.
Outgoing.
She's outgoing. She feels like she'd be perfect for like a comedy where they have like a straight man type of thing that you see in anime a lot, where they have like somebody says something weird and then the straight man comes in. This might be me from Yakuza, because there was this horrible minigame in Yakuza. I forget which one. I think it may have been in 5, where you had to do this, but it was impossible to do because they didn't localize it really well. And I have nightmares of that because it was so hard to do, because you had to like, basically you heard the joke in Japanese, but they didn't really subtitle it really well. So it was really hard to figure out what the punchline was.
I have a pet theory that the straight man trope in Japanese comedy is one of the main reasons why anime and manga became so successful overseas.
Really?
Because if you're translating something, the straight man's reaction gives another opportunity to add context so you can understand the joke.
That's a really good theory.
Yeah.
All is not well, though, from this straight man. They make it seem like this is the happiest the group has ever been. They basically say, we are never going to break up. Ever. 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 And then Dolores, blonde girl, rides in the car with Mortis, and they have a weird conversation where they talk about Piano Girl, and they do a weird X symbol. And I watched this episode twice, and both times she did the X thing was because you got to see the X like 4 times for me. I've seen it 4 times because
you watched it twice.
Yeah, Mortis does it once, and then Dolores does it once. When Dolores does it, it seems more natural. Mortis does not do it very well, and it seems kind of weird.
Which is weird, because she's supposed to be the genius actor.
She is the genius actor. God, this is a weird episode. So a lot of stuff happens, but then we get to a performance, and we learn that Mortis can't play the guitar, which is funny because she's like the lead guitarist, and everyone in the group is like, "What?"
And everyone's like, "What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Like that's all you do is play the guitar?"
It's like we could go all Milli Vanilli. For young people, they were a band. They were a group in the 80s, I think, that lip sang and then got caught, and they actually weren't singing the whole time, nor could they sing. It was big drama.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like an H-Bomber guy video.
Yes.
If only he was there in the 80s.
Yeah, it was a big scandal. If they actually could have sang, it probably doesn't, because like, I think almost every performance, a lot of those live performances, like I think most of the top of the pops for our British listeners, I might not be right, I think are pre-recorded. Most of the top of the pop stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And in the show, they were discussing whether they should just use guitar recordings.
Oh,
but
I was totally against that. That was so stupid. That was
they agreed with you.
That was the most asinine discussion possible.
Yeah, they were like, no, we are a live band. We perform intricate plays and music live. Keyboardist confronts Mortis, the green-haired girl, and asks her, what's the deal? And Keyboardist realizes that Mortis isn't addressing her the way the green-haired girl usually does.
Mm-hmm. Because we learn that Mortis is Mortis. She's not Matsumi. She's actually another identity. Dun dun dun.
Her character has become her.
Yes. Well, we also find out that she may have existed before in the past and may have been an imaginary friend. She did bring up that but she was around a lot, but then Mutsumi learned to play the guitar and that became her life. But then she didn't know the dangers and sadness that would be linked to being in the band.
Does this mean... Because she blames the keyboardist for this.
Yeah.
Because the keyboardist freaked out on her in the last episode.
Yeah. Oh, because she implied, and this is why this is what I was talking about in the earlier, where I did some research on this. Because I was like, this is bullshit. This is weird. I'm not. I work in mental health, and dissociative identity disorder is still kind of weird, but apparently there's been more research on it, at least from the one article I was reading on the Cleveland Clinic website and referencing the DSM-5. Yeah, basically it's you could have another identity. She's being what's called possessed. It is not the same as possessed in the spiritual sense as some other cultures have. It's no, she's being possessed by another identity or personality. So Mortis actually brings up the fact that she's sleeping. So let me reassociate myself a little bit then. Give me a second.
Oh, we disassociate?
Yeah, you should keep that in. Yeah, it seems like the idea here is that Mortis is the one that is in the driver's seat, and this actually is backed up by some research in some respects. This is from the Cleveland Clinic. The Cleveland Clinic seems pretty legit. So, when she actually talks about, she's asleep and she's never coming back, that was BS. I don't think that's necessarily possible. But...
Really?
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask, did the keyboardist kill green-haired girl?
If she did. Well, because the end of it, the end of this episode where she screams, which we'll get to, because the band disbands. That's where I was kind of thought it was BS, because part of me just does think this is Matsumi just hamming it up a little bit.
Just being a massive troll.
Yeah, because a lot of this also comes from, I'm sorry for people who have dissociative identity disorder. We're going to be kind of mean about it really quick. And that's why I did the disclaimer, did some research on this. It seems all right. But everything she says seems like a very rational thought from a teenage girl that is going through a mental breakdown. Interacting with another girl that has a mental breakdown. Because, see, the thing with, the dissociative identity thing, it almost kind of feels like it... What is it like? It absolves Matsumi from being kind of a meanie to keyboardist, because it feels like Matsumi, green-haired girl, when she says, I don't like you. When I came to you in my time of need, you just why aren't you on my side? And just that part, she's actually genuinely angry about this. This is why they need psychotherapy, because this is a really weird way of saying that really sucked that you told me that I'm not there for you. I think they both needed help. So
they both definitely need help.
I think they're both. I don't know if they're both to blame, but they both hurt each other.
Yeah.
I guess my thing, because I was seeing some Reddit, there were some people are oh, this is a really good dissociative identity disorder thing. I think it was okay, I looked through the Cleveland Clinic stuff. Sorry, Cleveland Clinic, you're getting a lot of love on this podcast.
This podcast is brought to you, but no, it's not.
No, it's
unfortunately.
Because if they wanted to take it more seriously, the red lighting they had for this scene made it seem like a horror thing. And I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about making her that monstrous, especially when we get to the point where they completely and utterly just wreck this character at the end of this episode, where I think the episode kind of becomes kind of funny.
The lighting and direction is so good.
Yeah, because they're outside of like a concert hall. Basically, they're by a pier, and there's like a lighthouse, and like the red light from the lighthouse is lighting up kind of this tile-looking ground that they're standing on. And the red lighting just hits really well. And there's one moment where it hits Mortis really well. She's like, you thought it was Matsumi the whole time? No, it is I, Mortis. It'd be really funny if I would have made a tuxedo mask, because technically at one point she probably did wear a mask, so it would have kind of worked.
Oh, yeah. I don't think she's worn a tuxedo.
No.
But
no.
That would be a good look for the band.
Probably. I don't know what would be a good look for this band, because the band doesn't exist anymore. Like I said, we already told you.
That's true.
We already told you that the band is over.
Because now the band members are just talking about how are we going to do this without our main guitarist? That's the vocalist guitarist, but not the main guitar parts guitarist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is blonde hair girl. That is the vocalist.
And it seems like Mortis wants this to be more of an acting troupe.
Yeah, I don't think Mortis knows how to be in a band. She's kind of a dummy. Not gonna lie.
Well, were they ever in a band? Because they were in this liminal space between being a band and being just weird plays.
See, this is the thing is where this is an interesting art, but at the same time, this is basic art, because at the end of the day, what is going to put butts in seats? It's probably the music with the play. I don't think you can sell out with just having the play without the music.
They should do like a market research to see like which is more popular. Do they need both?
I think, and this is the thing where it feels like this is very much every concert has a new aspect to the story.
Right.
So I think an incentive to go to the live shows is to continue the story.
Right. So it'll be like ending the show halfway through the season and then just playing the opening and ending credits.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not extremely pro this approach, especially when I don't know if live streaming is a thing. How do you get the notes of this? Like, people are probably going to have to like do lore. There's probably like lore stuff that's written on message boards that tells you about what happened. But
this is going to be like, you waste my job.
Yeah, where you have to keep extensive logs of the lore. But it's definitely putting the butts in the seats, because like they looks like they're pretty big stadiums usually.
Oh yeah.
But like, I think if I was marketing, which the show is really frustrating because it doesn't feel like there's anybody that works for them except in the offhand times where we see people working for them. And Amora says, what about the people working day in, day out for us?
And she's brought this up earlier, like, Amaris, the purple-haired girl, always likes to remind people. She's like the only person who really thinks about what does the audience want.
I really like that. That's why I called her comrade / capitalist Morris. Like, I was really impressed with the fact that she's like, what about the audience?
And she even acknowledged that it's not just about the concert tickets.
Yeah.
It's about the accommodation and travel to get there. Mm-hmm. And it's about people saving money from their jobs to go see whatever this thing is. And her rich band members don't understand that.
And that's why it's really funny that Mortis still didn't get it at that point. Because as we learned in the last episode, Morris actually feels like a really hard worker. It looks like she actually does quite a bit of work. Doesn't bring up the fact that she works. I mean, she does bring up the fact that she's practicing a lot. Because like even in this episode, she brought up the fact that she's practicing and wants to practice the music.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. She's a really subversive character. I thought she was going to be kind of meanie. feels like she's a business character. She just means business. She's here for the business. She knows what's best for business. She's annoyed about some of the choices. She's jealous of some of the more naturally talented people around her. I thought that was interesting. She had some good points. She also talked to her family this episode. She comes from like a big family. They do rock, paper, scissors to speak to her.
To decide who gets to talk on the phone first.
That was pretty cute. Sends cute birthday presents.
Her mom gives good encouragement speeches.
Yeah. I mean, it must be hard being in this band that's like a freak show band that is... I think it was nice that Amoris, I don't know, is willing to confront keyboardist, but I did like that she confronted Mortis in this episode. We finally got, why are you in this band?
So who did they threaten to expel? Was it the keyboardist?
I think so. That's what it seemed like, right?
Yeah. Which is a bit weird, because as we said, she does all the groundwork. She's the one who writes the songs, prepares the scripts.
Mm-hmm.
And it is weird, because the band is no longer what she created, what she wanted it to be. So she no longer vibes with the band. But at the same time, all the songs and like all of the intellectual property is hers.
It's probably the company that probably owns it, but yes, I agree with what you're trying to say. She's going to make like a Taylor version, or I mean like an Oblivious version.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Well, also, I think this all comes from the fact that, I don't know, and we may have forgot to mention, but Amoris did ask, like, when they came back from the creepy lighting, that the other four members had a discussion while green-hair girl Mortis was, like, not in the room, where it's like, oh, yeah, she has a split personality. And then, like, they shoot, like, there's a knock on the door, once again, making this horror like she's going to kill them. And I'm like, this is once again where I'm like, okay, if we're trying to make this treat this seriously, then we shouldn't try to make it this horrifying. Also,
yeah, the horror element is so good. It's so weird and amazing.
To be fair, the show's kind of always had like the psychological horror aspects, even in the first episode. Like the first episode was shot like a psychological horror. Like the first scene was like a psychological horror, where we see Dolores just sitting in the chair, and it looks like she's about to get murdered. I still think that's when I see in that first episode.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like the way that it's shot, like when her dad gets fired for the Fall Guy. Oh, and then when he throws a beer can at her. I might be remembering that and like adding creative license of what my memory remembers from the first episode.
Someone needs to make a horror supercut of this show.
But yeah, this discussion of breaking up. Some people, like, when I first saw this, because like I said, I've seen this twice. You've only seen this just once. Because we tried to change it up, because last time we watched episode 3, I had forgot some things. So I decided to watch it again this time. I like how the let's just break up happened rather quickly. And it was kind of excellent.
Yeah, I was at first like, surely you should try something, like you can salvage this. But then I remembered they are missing a guitarist. And that is kind of important.
A guitarist that literally does not want to do anything.
Acting. She's a genius actor. And she thinks that her acting is good enough.
Yeah. And that's where the ridiculousness aspect of it is like, so you're basically just saying you're here for the public appearances. And that's it.
Well, yeah, you just have a band member who can't play music or sing.
Yeah.
But she's really good at between the song performances.
And press stuff.
Oh yeah, she's good at press. She's the P. Diddy to the Notorious B.I.G., which is the band.
Okay, that's going too far. It's going too far.
That's going too far?
Yeah, okay. Like, can you even name a Notorious B.I.G. song?
No?
You barely know who this person is.
I watched After Signifier's video about P. Diddy. I'm sure that's enough.
I don't think it's enough. I mean, to be fair, he is correct. Even in like Big Papa, Juicy, P. Diddy's just there in the background. It's like, oh, that is weird. He's just there.
Yeah, it makes sense. And if the rest of the band gets shot, I wouldn't be surprised in the show.
I'm going to go on a limb, though, and say, like, these people, like, I feel like Hans should have came out. I'm surprised nobody got punched. And when I say nobody got punched, I'm surprised Mortis didn't get punched. Because Mortis basically, in a way, said, I'm here for the good looks. I am above this band. And I don't need to do anything anymore because I've basically mastered the acting aspect. And people are here because I basically already don't have inherent privilege of that people will like me because I'm a child of an actor. And I was like, really, like, I was like, wow, this character is just an awful character right now. I know she means well, she went through a mental breakdown, but I could totally see why. I really like the writing of how Morris responds, where it's like, I allowed you in the last performance to take away my screen time and steal, and because you're a genius, but like, and I think she knew, like, yeah, this is ridiculous. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
But also this band doesn't make any sense. Like we said, like as we've maybe talked about, is I still do not believe this band is real. I mean, it's in an anime, so it's not real. I think maybe some of the rich members of this band hired all these fans. I don't know how this band came about. I still hope for my fabled flashback episode of how the band starts. That is my dream. I want to see them at a club, like in Bocchi the Rock, playing some songs, doing their dumb little performance, and within like 3 weeks, they're already where they're at. Because I do not get how popular they are.
Like, doing a full edgelord play works if you have filled a stadium with fans who have just come to see you. But if you're in an underground club and you just start acting Shakespearean, I think people are going to get mad.
I think it's a bridge too far. Especially because, like, I think we've talked about this off air. I'm going to be a little weird. I just find it weird that, one, there's like only girl fans in the audience when I think this is a very demographically diverse, like there should be dudes that are totally into this. Like this is so like rockcore and strange.
A lot of their performances are kind of geared towards the male gaze.
Yeah, but the show makes it act like the male gaze does not exist, despite the fact that, wait a second. To be fair, now I'm wondering about the play aspects of this, because everything has to relate to piano girls, keyboard girls, life experience. It's basically the story of her life.
Yeah, and that's why she's upset with this direction, because they were moving towards a happier direction. And she's like, no, this band needs to be as dark and sad as I am.
Like, I don't want our fans to come out and be like, I miss when this band was sad and broken. I like it when we are sad and broken. We should just be permanently sad and broken.
That is the keyboardist's main problem.
Yeah.
With the band right now, is that they were getting too happy.
Yeah. Also, they didn't know her pain, which is why she's kind of an annoying character. I mean, she's interesting. I think everyone in the show is actually kind of interesting, except for No Jacket Required. See, I even allowed myself to say that.
I think she has the potential to be super interesting once we get to know her more.
I hope we get to know her more next episode.
Yeah, once we find out what's behind the jacket.
Another jacket. It's like in Naruto when there's like a whole filler episode about what's under Kakashi's mask.
Okay.
And it was another mask.
See, this would have really helped them in the first episode.
Yeah. Oh! Yes.
When Amari started ripping masks off.
Yeah, that'd be funny. It's just another mask. We have no identity. I'm still sad they didn't actually fire Mutsumi and just get another guitarist. That would have been really funny. Because, like, No Jacket Required. Okay, you kind of got me saying it. totally sounded like she was into just getting somebody else into the band before the breakup stuff started happening. But I also think like the breakup stuff, because like she earlier in the episode we kind of alluded to this, like brought up Sparkler's about to burn out. I don't think any of these people liked being in this band except for the keyboard girl.
No, because it's her entire concept.
Yeah.
She just forced everybody into this.
Yeah, it's the Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
And now the other band members are claiming the band for themselves. And the keyboardist can't handle that.
It's like in... Because I sent Tom's Bond some Genesis interviews that came out with their funny 2007 remasters for the Lamb Lies on Broadway album. He's like, Tony Banks, the piano player, is like, I made such a beautiful song, but then Peter made it all about snakes and stuff. And he was so angry about that. It was funny.
That fits this pretty well.
Doesn't it?
Yes. So this episode ends with them
breaking up.
Yeah, on stage. And Mortis is just breaking down and screaming.
I am of the belief that none of what Mortis said was real and actually was said.
Oh yeah, I agree.
But imagine how fire it would have been if she actually would have said that and would have freaked out on stage.
Like they drag one of the members kicking and screaming as during the performance.
Because like I think going to like the dissociative identity disorder thing as well again is that felt like Mutsumi. That didn't really feel like Mortis. Like because like I think right when they started talking about disbanding, like Mortis could not handle it. But once again, this is dissociative identity disorder stuff. We are not experts.
No, I think it was Mortis, because otherwise she would have been like, "Hey, I'm back. I can play the guitar."
I think at that point they didn't care anymore. I don't think this band really likes each other. Like I like how they said all bands have expiration dates. That's basically what No Jacket Required said. No Jacket Required. I don't think you have ever really cared about this band ever.
Even though it looks like she does the logistics.
Yeah, it does seem that way. I also, if I was running that venue and they had any other tickets, like they're a blacklisted band at this point. Like,
well, they don't exist.
Exist anymore. But like any of these members, I think should never be able to play across Japan.
Well, it looks like they had their last concert where they just get together and say, it's over.
I mean, I think that's all they did. They literally went out and then they said it's over. And then that there's a Morris being like, they came here and they put their butts in the seats and had to do all this stuff. And it's like, I don't think they played.
Yeah, but you were there. You could tell your grandkids, I was there when the weird acting band broke up. And I got to watch one of the members scream and cry on stage while the other members didn't even look her in the eye.
And it looks like in the episode preview to next week, it looks like next week they move on. It looks like Keyboard Girl might go back to the family, the grandfather that literally made her father the fall guy for shits and giggles. Because I still do not believe that dad actually was the embezzler at all. I feel the embezzlement was over exaggerated. And just saying she's going back to her grandparent. That's kind of sad. There's a few of these characters I have never seen in this show. I have no idea who these people are.
Well, it's the other people from her old band.
Yeah, there's a pink-haired girl.
Yeah, I remember her.
There's a heterochromia girl. I don't remember a heterochromia girl. If you ended the show right here, it would already be the greatest show of all time. But it has more episodes apparently. Are you gonna keep watching this show?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Me too. And listeners, we don't know how this is gonna be released yet. We're both very busy. We were gonna make these but thank you so much. This has been Marxist Clover.
Yeah, make sure you watch, people. Watch this. More people need to talk about this.
Watch Ave Mujica at wherever you can, because it's excellent. It's so silly and kind of deep, but so silly. I do not know why this genre exists. I love it. It's such a messy genre. But thank you so much. This has been your co-host, Angles Next Door, and your other co-host,
Eric Hobsbawm. And
have a lovely day, night, and or morning, or after dark. Good night.
おはようございます。あらあら。あらあら。
おい工藤